connection between love language and childhood trauma. And Gary Chapman introduced this concept. He suggested that there are different ways that as individuals we express or receive love. And he mentioned that we do that he mentioned about 5 ways that we do that. Some could be quality time, physical touch, among many others. And our mission today is to find out the linkage between how sometimes the trauma that we have or experience in childhood influences or reflects how we express our love as individuals. And this is not in any way to diagnose any emotional issue or any emotional struggle of any kind. At Safe Space, we believe that there is strength in being vulnerable, and so this is a platform that we raise awareness, we support each other, we want you to know that your emotions are valid, you are seen. We want to give hope that we all are human beings and we all have struggles one way or the other. And as human beings, we all go through different forms and shapes of emotions. And so I want to be here in your corner always. And what I want to do is to offer you my support, offer you my ears, offer you any support of any kind, that as you navigate through your emotional journeys. And here is the no max zone for any kind of emotion. So feel free to be yourself, to be authentic self, express yourself, and know that you are heard, you are seen, and you are loved dearly. With that being said, if anybody also expresses love in any of the emotions that we are going to, any of the ways that we are going to mention, it doesn't mean that you are suffering from any trauma. Like I said earlier, we do not diagnose any emotional struggle of any kind. And so, in as much as we are here to offer you our support, our love, and we are rooting for you, it's proper that you go through the necessary professionals for you to get diagnosed and to get the help that you need. So without much ado, today we'll be focusing on physical touch. It's one of the one of the love languages that Gary suggested. So we'll be dealing with physical touch, and then we will try to deal with the others as we move on. And so one may ask, what is physical touch? So physical touch is any touch that you receive from another person. That's the layman's term. Any touch or any physical touch that involves you and another person. And it could be casual, as just holding of hands, a tap at the back, or it could also be just sitting close to somebody, or a hug, a harmless hug, or it could also be intense or very intimate, like kissing, cuddling, reassuring touches, among many others. And why will somebody give you all that physical touches? It's just to emphasize that they feel your pain. It's also to communicate non-verbally that they have affection towards you, or it could also to give you support, right? It also shows, or it also expresses dominance over somebody. And why do we, as human beings, a lot of scientists will say that it's very important, touch is very important for our development as a human being. And so a healthy touch goes a long way to help us as individuals as we develop into adulthood, or as we continue to grow, we all need these physical touches, as we are human beings, and all this makes us it's part of us as human beings to go through all these things. Imagine you going through something and then your friend just gives you a good hug, without even saying a word. It goes a long way to reassure you. It goes a long way to calm your nerves. And like the scientists will say, it releases a lot of hormones that, feel good hormones that goes a long way to calm your nerves and help you at the end of the day. And so a lot of people, for them to feel loved, to feel deeply loved, a lot of people, for them to express their love for you, to tell you how much they deeply love and appreciate you, to also make you know that they love you. This is the way that they do it, through the above examples that we mentioned. They would like to kiss you, they would like to give you a hug, they would like to reassure you through cuddles. They would like to connect with you through touches, and that is okay. We are not here to judge anybody on how they choose to express their love, but we just want to highlight that maybe it could be a problem, or it could be a trauma that you yourself might not know about, that it could be a deep-seated struggle that you have, and that is why it's an unhealthy way. That is why it has become unhealthy, because sometimes people get too attached and too touchy, and they don't have boundaries, and they just want to go on and on. And so we want to just mention a few, so that you can have a look at it and see the one or two lessons that you can pick from this. And so if an individual grows up, grows up without having adequate physical affection, like the touches that we mentioned earlier, like hugs, cuddling, reassuring touches, it's like they didn't get to experience all those things when they were growing up, and so it kind of becomes what they are yearning for, and so it becomes their love language. If they meet somebody, or they have somebody that is able to give them that, it makes them feel very connected to you. It makes them feel loved. It makes them feel like they are loved by somebody. And so it could be a reason, or it could reflect their childhood trauma, that growing up there was not a lot of physical or adequate affection, and so that is what they need, and then it becomes their love language. Another thing is that if you grow up, and if you grew up among caregivers who were emotionally unavailable and neglected your emotional needs, and sometimes there are parents that they are not emotionally available themselves. They don't even know how to express emotions. If a child is going through something, maybe you need a hug or something, and then they end up giving you a toy. They put a toy in your hands, or give you tablets in your hands for you to just deal. And so you grow up not getting all those types. African parents, I beg your pardon. This is not to look down on any parental style, but you grow up, and then with any little thing you do, you have a lot of slaps at your back, and you have to reset and quickly put yourself together as a child. And it could be that all you needed was just a hug, All you needed was just probably a kiss or a peg on your cheeks or something, just a reassuring something. But unfortunately, you didn't get that. Also, if you have busy parents these days, they are working hard to make sure that the family is put together and financially needs are met, among many other things. And it also leaves children not able to receive that kind of love. Also, if you are a child and you are moved from one place to the other, you are raised by different caregivers. Today, maybe unfortunately you lost your parents or something happened financially, maybe the caregivers are not able to provide, and so you end up being raised by different people. Today you are here, tomorrow you are taken here, and so or you are being raised in a foster care or an institution. Today you are moved here, tomorrow you are there. It destabilizes you, okay? And in most cases too, let's say in these institutions, there are rules and regulations, and there is a limit to how a caregiver can have access to you, so that you don't misunderstand them. An example is, the lecturer and then the student that they had the case today. The girl felt that she was inappropriately touched. And so in these days, people are also very careful. People who are raising other people's children or people who find themselves working in institutions are very careful, because you might not know what the boundaries may be, and you wouldn't want to cross any boundary as well. And it could also be that an individual who has also suffered a lot of physical abuse may develop complex relationship with physical touch. So let's say an individual who unfortunately had gone through physical abuse. He or she has been beaten. He or she has been beaten always with at least things. The physical contact that she has is slaps, being mercilessly beaten, or even being raped. People have really gone through stuff, and so they develop complex relationships, develop complex trauma when it comes to physical touch. And so sometimes they may not want to be touched, or they could develop, when they find somebody giving that comforting touch, giving that reassuring touch, it becomes what they need. It becomes what it kind of satisfies their need for that. Because the things that they've experienced over the years have been only abuse. And so for them to have that is kind of reassuring. And so trauma has affected attachment styles, has affected how people regulate their emotions, have made people hypersensitive about a lot of things. And so sometimes what we think that is our love language, or what we think that is love, might be because of the trauma that we have gone through over a period. And so this is just to create awareness. And what do we do? What do we do if we have realized that sometimes what we term love might not actually be, what we term our love language might not actually be a love language, but it might be a deep-seated issue that we need to attend to? One, it's great that you are here and we get to talk about it. So you need to realize what you are going through. You need to realize that you have an issue. When I say you have an issue, it doesn't mean that the world has come to an end. everybody that if you are sick and you don't recognize that you are sick, how would you get the necessary help that you need? And so you need to recognize that you need help, and then you have to take steps in ensuring that you receive help. And so you have to be self-aware. One, you need to take the necessary steps. If you need to see a counselor, if you need to get diagnosed, a psychologist, clinical psychologist, to get diagnosed of what you are going through, and then they have to, the way that they have to help you, help is given. And you have to also be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with yourself as you go through the journey. And if you are having a partner that also has physical touch as their love language, you need to be honest with each other. You talk about it, you tell them what you would like and what you don't like. You, the person that is receiving it, talks about it, and you, the person that's supposed to give it to your partner too. You have to let them know the limits that you can go for them. You see, the reason being that if I'm giving you that kind of love, and because you are my partner, of course we have to support each other emotionally. And so if I'm giving you that, it shouldn't be, I shouldn't outdo myself, right? Because if I outdo myself, then I will begin to resent you. And so communication is very important, so that you don't end up outdoing yourself and resenting the person at the end of the day. The last thing I would like to say is that you need to learn to be stable. You need to learn healthier ways to express love. If you know that the things that we have mentioned, you can learn on your own, learn more about it, and find healthier ways. Emotions are most times overwhelming, right? They are most often overwhelming, and sometimes if we want to, because we want to get over the stress, because we want to get over the anxiety, we find easier ways to cope with it. But that shouldn't be the case. Please find healthier ways to cope with it. And so it's very important that you talk to a specialist, you talk to somebody that can help you build good people around you that you can be comfortable with, you can be vulnerable with, you can share your pain, you can be yourself, and express how you feel. Thank you so much. It's so hot in here. Thank you so much for doing this with me. This is Safe Space, and Safe Space, we say this is where vulnerability meets strength. Remember, no max zone. This is a no max zone, and so feel free to unmax all your emotions. Feel free to be yourself right here. Kindly support this platform by subscribing on our YouTube platform. Follow us, share your thoughts, share this video, and let us reach out. Let's create this community where we get to support each other, especially the young ones. I'm saying young ones as if I'm that old, and especially the youth. Let's be on fire and support each other and help a lot of youth to be able to find themselves, to be able to manage their emotional struggles. I'm here for you. I'm right here in your corner always, and see you next time. Bye.